when you're looking up information about disabilities, or you're trying to find advice about disabilities and stuff like that, this is a big important one. I especially notice it with being a special ed major and the textbooks I have to read. Are the books written by somebody with a disability? Has somebody with a disability been consulted, or a disabled person been consulted in writing that? What sources have been used? Because there are some organizations like, just for example, Autism Speaks, that don't use direct sources from directly autistic people sometimes. Especially, we just got to make sure that those sources come with the direct primary source. You should always be questioning something that says something about a disabled person if a disabled person wasn't consulted or did not give that opinion, if it's an able person giving that opinion. So that's something that we definitely in academia definitely need to look into, looking into asking first-person resources. And to clarify first-person resources, there are many, pages on Facebook, Twitter, social media, anything you can name to follow that are ran by autistic people or people with any disabled people, really, that will give you that first-person view, and you'll know. And you can just follow these pages, just like them, follow them. Get involved in the whole disabled community so you can understand, especially if you're a non-disabled person, what is in the mind of those people firsthand. So I think Christa wants to ask a question. So go ahead, Christa.
I have kind of a piggyback off of that. It's kind of like I know when people look up Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a lot of it is medical textbooks and people that haven't really, and it's these world record books that show that we have really stretchy skin and stuff like that, and they focus on the cool stuff, but they don't ever go into the stuff that we struggle with. And so what I find most helpful for me in learning about my disorder is kind of what Ethan was saying. I go and I've joined plenty of Ehlers-Danlos Facebook groups and mast cell Facebook groups, and I'm on autistic Facebook groups, and it's just a plethora of information. And a lot of times they're very open into people that are either able-bodied coming into the group and asking a question, because it's better to get it from us than to try to find it through a textbook of some sort, or just Googling it and not really understanding it without having an actual person that's disabled answer that question for you. And so a lot of the times on this Ehlers-Danlos Facebook group, I have a lot of people asking, if you're a musician, how do you deal with pain and things like that? And we're able to bounce off ideas and try to help each other as a community. And it's really helpful. The Facebook group community is top notch. It's almost better than my doctors sometimes, because I'm able to get people with other similar experiences, because doctors don't necessarily have your disability, or they have your disease or anything that you have. So it's easier to relate to people that have it.
Kind of off of Christa, I definitely agree with Christa and Ethan. I think it's so important to go directly to the source. Yes, there are these people who have done all of this research, but if you don't actually have the thing, then how do you know the exact experience that person is having? And it gets really complex when we talk about abled people writing these books for special education when they don't actually have these experiences. And as someone who also has an ed degree, I was looking through a lot of the special education books that I had to read as part of my degree. And, I'm kind of I have ADHD, and this does not look like ADHD to me at all. It's for me, ADHD is way more complex than not being able to sit still. It's executive dysfunction, being time blind, and so many other assortments of things that are not talked about in the education system at all for people with ADHD. And I can definitely say, since I've started my journey with getting to know other people with ADHD and joining other groups, I've definitely learned a lot about myself and how to help myself, more so than my ed degree taught me, through other people and my individual experiences.
Hi everybody, this is Daniel Morrison. I'm the director of bands at Ronald Reagan High School in San Antonio, Texas. Just wanted to take a second to say how big of a fan I am of marching arts education, both as a viewer of the content and also someone who has been fortunate enough to create some content with Tim Hinton, being interviewed on his podcast a couple of times. It's an amazing resource for educators, for performers, for fans, and it's only a $5.99 a month subscription, and I highly recommend it.